the same week, now we're getting rejections from other institutions. Now I have to go for an interview. What if I don't make it? I'm already getting rejections. That was something that, I don't know, kind of also pushed me. And I'm really grateful for the experience. And I'm really glad I met you, Dr. Tsepe, before I could even go for interviews, because most of the questions that I asked you were based on research. And I think I more or less answered them how you advised me. So I think that kind of like worked in my favor.
Wow, 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 wow. Kia, welcome. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know, will you be able to switch on your video later to share?
That will not be a problem.
Super, super, super. I want them to share your story for them to see who's this person who's been selected already. It's nice to see faces of people who have been selected.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and congratulations again, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We want to wrap on this feeling. It's nice to have people who have been selected here. So I'll give you time. There's somebody I wanted them to share before you. They're struggling to connect. So I'm just giving them time to connect. As soon as they're connected, I think we will start. I don't want to waste much time. I think people are struggling with the link. Did you not struggle to connect on your side?
No, mine was, the link worked. It was fine.
Okay. Maybe also because you are using the Teams at your institute. Okay, I think, what time is it? What time is it? What time is it? These people will take our time. Do you mind if we give them just 3 minutes? We start at 1840. Will that be fine with you? 1840? Will 1840 work? Is just in 3 minutes, 2 minutes time. I'm thinking we just start. I don't want to wait for people who are not here. Okay, this one can join later. Pamela and Lunga, where are you going for interviews? Can you just share on the comment? I'm just interested to see where people are going. I hope you can be able to comment. Pamela, Lunga, are you able to comment just to share where you are going for interviews?
Hello everyone. So I'm having troubles with commenting with my phone. So I got invited.
Problem. Yeah, continue.
I got invited at Rhodes, and it's also my first time joining you guys. I got the link today. So,
wow, 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 wow. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I think last time when we met, we had people from Rhodes. I can't remember, but there were some few people from Rhodes. And yeah, one already I think I can see there. The person said they've got load shedding. Today is hectic. I think the timing was bad because the stages are very high. So most people are going to be affected. But that will not affect us. I think we'll still continue regardless, just to honor the meeting and those who are here. Lunga, I see Lunga got kicked out. Lunga also is going for interviews. I think he indicated. Happy. There's somebody who got knocked out of the interview. I wanted her to just share where she thinks she went wrong. She was willing to share, but she's really struggling to connect. She's busy commenting on LinkedIn. So I was hoping before I go to Gia, I can actually be able to give her a chance. I wanted to have more a balanced discussion where not only do we look at what people can do, but also what other people have done, which they think affected them. Because luckily, the person I'm talking to was very honest to say, you know what, you have helped me. I learned everything that you said on the channel, but I got anxious when I got there. And that affected the person not to be selected at SMU. So I wanted her to speak before Kia. Kia got selected. Next day we'll be doing the M at SMU in clinical psychology. So she is here. She's also going to share what she did. And I definitely wanted somebody who just got selected recently. Their memory is still fresh to be able to share what they think they have done. I'm hoping to be joined by two psychologists, actually one psychologist who just completed internship this year. She was doing her master's at SMU to just quickly share some tips. And I've got a neuro, somebody is in neuro. She also just completed internship. She's planning for a board exam. I also invited her to come and share. I spoke to her a few minutes ago. She was on load shedding, I think, until 8. So she said if we are still on, she will join. But if she's not, I think I'll tell her to join another time. There's also somebody from HPCSA. I've asked him to join, but he's landing or having a meeting. Something is happening with him. If he does make it, I'll ask him to join online and just share some few tips. This one is a very big person at HPCSA. So I didn't want to make promises until he's here. So if he does manage to join, he will just speak to you and give you some few words of encouragement, because he's involved. She's a professor at UNISA as well. So I wanted him to just share some few words of encouragement with you. The whole aim, colleagues, I think, is to ensure that for those who were here in the previous meeting, we want to ensure that you are more relaxed when the interview starts. And that's the most important thing. We want you to be as relaxed as possible. We want you to be as comfortable. We want to normalize the interview process, because most of the time people are not affected, not because they are not prepared, but they become so anxious. Hence, I thought Happy will join so that she can just share a bit. I think what I will do, if she's not able to join, I might call her and then she just speak over the phone. I thought that will be better, because I wanted somebody just to give an input about what she thinks affected her and how we can be able to learn from there. So those are the things that I wanted us to do. So that's the program. So basically I wanted Happy to start first. She has not been selected, but I thought we could learn from her experience, particularly those who are still coming. I've not heard from the guys from VETS. We had two people who were going for interview at VETS on Wednesday when we met. I've not had an update about what happened. Sometimes when people don't make it, it really affects them so much that they just want to take a breather and not talk. But I'm glad that Happy was open enough to say, you know what, I went to SMU and I had Kia. Kia, you encourage people on Wednesday, even though you're still in the process, but people got more encouraged, you know. So people had Kia and they gave me feedback. They said, we also went to SMU, but we got kicked out. But we are happy to share what affected us, you know. So those are the things that I wanted us to hear from her. So I'm going to connect her online, and then she can speak to us as well. But maybe before I do that, or while I'm waiting for her to connect, or while I sort her out, maybe Kia, is it any better that I start with you and I will have Happy later, because clearly I can see she's sending me a lot of messages. She really wants to connect, and I'm so happy because she's really interested in being part of the meeting and sharing her experience. So maybe let's start with you. Are you able to join via the video so that people can see that you are not a robot? Kia, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. My network is pretty bad. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
No. Look, you are selected into masters. It doesn't matter. even, even if your network is bad, now you are selected. It doesn't matter. You can have a network problem. Okay. Kia, are you able to speak without? If your network is an issue, you can switch off the camera so that but we can hear you. Are you fine now?
I think it's fine.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I've already introduced you. I told them that you are fresh from the box and you are going to share how does it feel to be newly selected. You are following on Lerato's footsteps. Lerato also did a master's at SMU. Now she's completing her internship, so she can give some tips on the journey at SMU. Yeah, please, over to you, Kia.
Okay,
Did you hear my questions and what I wanted you to share about? Did you hear me?
Yes, I think you said I must introduce myself and I must talk about my experience.
Yes. Your past week experience. How was it getting that invite? The first day, second day, fourth day. SMU selection is like a boxing. It has got many stages and many rounds. Over to you.
Okay, thank you.
Let me switch off mine.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kiabetswe, and I am currently registered with SMU. I am doing masters in research psychology, and I had just been accepted for clinical for the year 2024. So I don't even know where to start, but
We understand. We understand.
so I think the past week has been I was so exhausted. I was really tired. It has just been emotionally draining for me, and I I don't know how I actually made it, but I'm really glad I did. So what happened was um on Monday when we got invited, there were like 100 of us, and we had to do group interviews. So here we were given a topic. Our topic was the impact of mental health on Black South African men and how we can use technology to help them get access to mental health services, something along those lines. Okay, so now we were a group of 10. We walked in, we sat, and we started talking as a group. I think within the group, my group was everybody got a chance to speak. I think we all gave like 2 or 3 ideas regarding whatever the topic was. So on my side, basically my group members were talking about social media as a tool that we can use to help Black men access mental health services. And I realized that most of them were talking about social media. So I spoke about online therapy and how we can use that as another tool, since it's convenient and people get to access it at the comfort of their own homes. So I spoke about that, and that's when I think everyone started talking about something else. So after that, Tuesday, we didn't go in because the group, I think there were other groups who were presenting on Tuesday. So we had to wait until Tuesday night or end of business to get emails if you were invited for Wednesday. My Tuesday was a lot. It was so, I was so anxious the whole day because I didn't know if I was gonna get an email or I wasn't gonna get it. So now what happened was I ended up, okay, I got an email on Tuesday and we went in on Wednesday. So I'm sorry, Dr. Tseba, I switched off my video because my neck, I think.
No, it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Okay.
At least we know you are not the robot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on Wednesday, when we went in, I think we were 50. Yeah, I think it was 50 of us. And then on Wednesday, what we did was role play. No. On Wednesday, we did. Okay, I'm not sure what we did on Wednesday. But on Thursday, when we went in, we were doing role plays. No, we did role plays on Wednesday. And basically, I had to interview another person and somebody else would interview me as well. And then I had to reflect on the conversations. So honestly, I think my reflection was not that good, but I didn't know what to say. And on Thursday, I'm not sure how many we were, and we wrote an abstract. On Thursday, we wrote an abstract. We were given a page, we were given an article. It was like 10 pages or so. So we had to write and we had to read it in 1 hour and write within that hour. So I think the topic was Ubuntu, and I think the 4 ingredients of Ubuntu, something like that. So we wrote that. We had to write an abstract and a conclusion. We had to come up with an abstract and a conclusion. So after that, we had personal interviews, individual interviews, but with, I think the panel, we had like 5 panel members. So with me, I was so anxious and they asked me personal questions, basically. Who are you? Where do you come from? What am I doing? What do I understand about therapy? And would I go into therapy because I'm not into therapy? And what else did they ask me? I think, they asked me about my support system. They asked me about the research that I'm currently conducting now. And then I think the good part for me was that I got 3 Black females as part of my panel, and they also allowed me to speak in my own language. So I'm Tswana. So they told me if I felt comfortable speaking in Tswana, I could do that. So I think that also kind of helped me to explain certain things that I couldn't because I was anxious and I was scared. It was chilled. It was really nice. I think I even enjoyed those interviews more. So on Friday, I think we all got emailed for the 5th round. When we got there, it was individual interviews, but the panel was not asking questions this time. It was the HOD. Is that, I think, Dr. Lisiba or something?
Yes, Dr. Lisiba, Professor Lisiba.
Yes, Professor Lisiba. Professor Lisiba was the one asking questions. And my questions was, what am I doing now? I think they just wanted to see if the answers that I would give on a Friday were more or less the same to the questions that I got on Thursday. Because he asked me a lot about my research, why I chose the research that I'm doing, and what am I familiar with the environment. And I told him that I am because I did my honors at SMU and I'm currently registered. And he also asked me what my worst experience was. So I told him about me having difficulty setting boundaries and so he said, he asked me if I were to get selected into the program, how would I navigate from the shift from research to clinical? So I told him that I made that decision when I first applied. So with me, research was more like a stepping stone into something that I wanted. And it kind of helped me enhance, it kind of like helped enhance my writing skills. And I think it will become useful for me when I get accepted into the program. And I think, yeah, he asked me like 3 to 5 questions, but mostly were about research, the topic that I'm doing now. Why did I choose that topic? And that was it. They just said we must just be on the lookout for emails. And then around 3:30 yesterday, they made they sent us an email. They CC'd everyone. We were like 24, 25. They CC'd everyone. And I think basically it was a debriefing telling us, congratulations, if you didn't make it, it's not because you're not good enough. It's just that the program is intense and we're trying to find people whom we think might fit into the SMU criteria and. So they were like, after this, then we're gonna start receiving emails. I think when I received the email after that, for the first time this week, I cried.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I've just been acting strong the whole week, but for the first time after the email, I cried and I was so happy. Basically, that's how my experience has been. It wasn't easy, and having to see the people you are kind of like competing with was also nerve-wracking, because you get people, and also in the same week now we're getting rejections from other institutions. Now I have to go for an interview. What if I don't make it? I'm already getting rejections. That was something that, I don't know, kind of also pushed me, and I'm really grateful for the experience, and I'm really glad I met you, Dr. Tsepe, Dr. Tsebe, before I could even go for interviews, because most of the questions that I asked you were based on research, and I think I more or less answered them how you advised me. So I think that kind of like worked in my favor.
Wow, 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 wow. Awesome. Look, I think I want to take questions, but I've got a very important person here that I want to welcome and release as soon as possible, because I know he's very busy. Prof. Taban is here. I want to welcome Prof. I don't know if you can hear me.
Thank you, Dr. Tsebe. I can hear you loud and clear.
Prof, thank you so much.
Yeah, I am just landing now, and I'm having a bit of a touch of flu. So if I do disappear, please do excuse me, but I'm attentive.
No, I don't want you to disappear. Actually, what I want to do, when you came in, Kia was sharing, Kia just got selected for clinical. So the people who join either have been invited for master selection or they've applied, they're waiting for invite. But the whole aim is to just prepare them mentally, attitude-wise, for the selection process. And I invited you personally because I know you are not here on your capacity as the deputy at HPCSA, but I think we need to just acknowledge that. And also, you are not here in your capacity from UNISA. You are just here as a psychologist whom I know has got a lot of knowledge and experience in the field. So I won't go into too much details. You are welcome to share about your background. I don't know what restriction you have, but I wanted to just give you time just to share some few words of advice and then take some few questions, and then you are free to log out and attend to other activities. So over to you, Prof. And please just a brief intro. Let them just know who's here. I've not spoken to you to hear how far I can go in introducing you, but over to you, Prof. Thank you so much.
No problem. No, thank you. And the first thing one needs to do is indeed to appreciate the leadership that you are giving and that you are showing in this regard. I apologize.
No problem.
As you have indicated, I'm a psychologist. I'm an educational psychologist by profession and by selection and by completion. Registered with the board since 2005, and opened my practice. So I've been practicing ever since then, and with work here and there with the University of Pretoria, and finally employed with the University of South Africa, and was the head of department for psychology of education. It's called at UNISA, and I'm now the school director there. It has been in terms of my psychology, it has been an interesting journey. Hence, I made sure that I participate as much as I can within the space. If you can remember as well that I was the chairperson of SEPSA, Society for Educational Psychology, the division of SISA, and I need to brag. And I'm the one who actually designed. I'm the one who actually designed the logo of SEPSA that SISA has now. And it was during transition, during serious transformations, for us to be where we are and to be recognized and to be noted as educational psychologists. As I said, the journey has always been interesting. One of the reasons that made me to join UNISA was at some point the recession, where now the country was going down financially, not because of corruption, no, but because of recession, the state of the economy of the world. If you can remember, during 2011, some of you are young, so you would not know what was happening in the world, that the economy was bad. And then I continued with my practice. I still do continue my practice. I still run it, either after hours or on weekends. And then or when I take leave. I was grateful with the fact that I kept my position as well at UNISA, because at some point we had issues with medical aids that were not paying psychologists, in particular educational psychologists and counseling psychologists. And this is still going on, it's still an issue. But medical aid has since started to lax a bit and then agree to these payments. So that has been my journey. I hope I'm not talking off the grid.
No,
but what I can say, what I can say is this: please, if you are selected, congratulations. It's going to be an interesting journey for you. If you are still going for interviews, for selection and all that, if you are not selected, congratulations. You've made it through the first step. And you have to apply again. And please, go and recruit more people to come and apply for psychology. At current, we have less than, you'll be shocked, we'll have less than 10,000 registered psychologists on the register, the HPCSA register. So this is a profession that needs people. It needs manpower, and you are part of the manpower. And part of being the manpower is to go and recruit, not only for you to be the first in your area, but to be also the first voice to go and get more people to come and join our profession. We need more black psychologists. We need more male psychologists. So please do go out there, raise your flag high as a psychologist. It's a noble profession, and the country needs you. Mental health is a human rights issue. COVID has indicated that people are suffering in silence, and they need you. They need you. So please, colleagues, let's become the agents that we need to be. And congratulations for getting to this step. And that, Tsebe?
But I wanted to actually ask you, the way you are recruiting people, I wanted to ask your capacity at HPCSA. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot.
Capacity as in?
Your role there in the board.
No, no, people should know that
Yeah.
I'm
Not your
from
other role that is confidential, but the one that is not confidential.
All my roles are confidential as far as the SPCSA is concerned. But what I want to say, is like you, people need to know where you come from, where I come from. So I'm from Mamelodi.
Yeah.
Never been in a multiracial class. And I managed to understand my role, who I am, and what I would like to see happening in the field that I've chosen. So that's always correct. I'm the deputy chair of the board of our board of psychology, and I was honored and that's when colleagues from all walks of life voted me to occupy that position. It took me by surprise that people identified and can see that I'm going to say a boy in this instance, a boy from Mamelodi, dusty Mamelodi, Mamelodi that didn't have electricity. People are complaining about load shedding. No, we are used to it. Some of us, people, from toilet outside, dusty streets, no tar road and all that. I know is not as worse as somebody who's in KZN, in the rural of the ruralist, but that person who's in the rural of the ruralist, they can make it in this profession. And all they need to know is who are they, why are they selecting this profession, and be true to that. We are here to serve the people, our people, and our people are suffering. Mental health is a serious issue. Right now, we are having issues with NHI, people who cannot access this elitist profession. I'm saying elitist because it only takes few. Remember, University of Pretoria will only get to select about 12 to 15. UJ, the same. So in a cohort of one particular year, those who have been selected this year, you must know that you are less than 100 who are studying to become psychologists in 2024, 2023, 2024. So when are we ever going to be able to take care of, how many are we? 62 million? How many are we in South Africa? Yeah, around there.
Yeah.
Or 90, sorry. So it's mind-boggling. People are killing themselves. Children are suffering because they have no one to talk to. They get into drugs because of family circumstances. Men are shooting their wives for one reason or the other. Their wives, the women are doing that. Children are doing this. So we are needed. we are needed. So I hope the capacity is fine because of, remember, I'm not authorized to speak on
Yes,
behalf
yes,
of
yes.
the HPCSA. That's why you were giving a disclaimer.
No, definitely, Prof. And I didn't want them to leave here and say we had HPCSA present. You are just coming here.
No, it's not here. HPCSA is not here.
Okay, colleagues, I don't want us to be restricted. Usually when they say when you're in a present of wisdom, you don't talk a lot, you just ask questions. So I want to open the floor. Any question that you have. Guys, me in this field, I'm a small boy. We have got now the big people in the field who are here. Ask any question that you have because I want to release Prof and then we can remain and discuss our selection. But I want to open it. Any question, maybe even beyond selection, just few things that Prof can be able to assist with. Can I just see if there are any questions? Please feel free. Where Prof is not allowed to answer, he will be able to respond and tell us. Are there any questions, colleagues? Any questions? I hope people are not being scared to ask. When he leaves here, me, I won't have the answers. Questions? Pamela, Buhle, Nosipo, Lerato, any question? Hey, Banna. People are active. Prof, when you are not here. Now that you are here, I think everybody is frozen. Colleagues, are there questions?
They are thinking, Dr. Tsebe. Yeah, it's not that they are scared or no, they are thinking on how to craft an intelligent question that is already on their mind, and all they need to know is that a question is a question. That's just it. Maybe they also need to know that you and I come a long way. When did you join? When I left, or you joined few years after, Dr. Tsebe?
I think you had left when I came to UP. But by the time, I can't remember, but you used to come to campus for some reason because I used to consult with you a lot regarding my PhD. No, actually my master's, because we came, I was doing my master's by then.
Yes.
And you're one of the people who gave me an advice that I must not forget I'm a student. I must not try to change the world.
Yes.
I think, I used to have so much energy when I was doing my research. You remember I had so much energy.
Yes.
And you're like,
no, I get it. I saw myself in you. So I do not want you to burn like I burned myself. However, you are also one resilient person, and I hope you do share your personal journey with your group, because I'll be very honest with you. There is no best teacher than a person who tells you about their own experiences, and then you take from whatever is put on the platter, and then you have the choice to select what you want from that bouquet. So it's very powerful, and what you're doing. I heard what Buhle, is it Buhle when I came in?
Kia,
talking on how you assisted her in terms of the research element of it and what she said, and she responded according to what you said, and she internalized, in other words, from your experience, from what you said, and then she put it there. They must just remember, those who still have to be selected, that there is no magic wand when you get there, it's about your insight. Psychology is about insight, your understanding of who you are, your understanding of who the people you're going to be assisting, and you being able to have insight into what they are saying, meaning you take content into consideration, and who is this person. The fact that you are seeing a person with they say the devil wears Prada, with Pradas, does not mean they are a devil. No matter what the saying is out there are reasons why people present themselves, they are presenting themselves, and it's for you to have that understanding and that take to people's experiences and backgrounds. you know. And you don't have all the answers, by the way.
Definitely, definitely.
Be a positive in the field as well. So you need to know as well your strengths. How can they work for you? You need to know how your weaknesses can work for you. That's about insight. That's self-reflection when you engage. That's what psychology and psychologists is about.
No, you're definitely right, Prof. You're definitely right. And I just want to thank you so much. I can see my people have frozen. I think I told them I've got a surprise guest. I think you coming here is also overwhelming for them. I know if I hijacked you, mainly because I was getting a lot of questions from people about selection. I decided let's meet online, and then we can also invite other people who can advise you, because I've been advising them the whole year, but I wanted them to get different perspective. But I think,
So
Prof,
what type of questions that you
so
got?
basically people are asking what do they have to prepare when they go for selection. And I would have liked them to just ask for themselves, but what should they prepare when they go to selection? What is expected of them? Maybe let me put it there and then you can help, because I prefer it from at least give them a different perspective. When they go for selection, what should they prepare? And what is expected from the selectors? Those are selecting, who are on the other hand. I think you might have been on my panel when I went for my M and honors. I can't remember. But what are they looking for? That's what they want to know, because the selection for psychology is very tricky.
Yes.
Maybe if you can deal with that. But I think what we will do, even when you finish answering, I will make time somewhere in the year. We get into other things pertaining to board exams and all that. I don't know if you'll be allowed to get into that area, but that's the area that I'm very much interested to engage with you about. But please, if you can help with that one, that's where the anxiety is about. What should they prepare? What should they know? What is expected from the panel when they go for that selection process?
Okay. Now I know what you meant about that secret one. So, um, that's it.
I'm
Look,
very choosing
it's
my words here. I'm trying
yeah.
to
I saw that. I
contain
saw that,
and
and I appreciate. I saw that, and I appreciate.
uh,
What is very important is, like I said, it's about insights about who you are. You need to know that you cannot, as Ndatetsewe said earlier on, you cannot solve all the problems in the world, and you need to know, Hore, that you have your own strengths and you have your own weaknesses. You need to know that you don't know everything, so you cannot go there and when you have answers to everything that they give to you. You have solutions to everything that they give to you. Just hold on, that's it.
yeah, friends, please, others with issues with the mic, you can also put your questions on the chat. I'll be able to read it for you. Those who want to ask questions directly, you can just raise your hand and then I'll be able to take it through the mic. But you can also put your questions on the chat.
Dr. Tabe, I don't know, but I'm unable to write my question on the chat. I don't know why.
No, it doesn't matter. At least you can speak. So at least you are selected. Your confidence is too high, so you can speak on the mic.
No, my question is not really selections related.
No, sorry. Let me just clarify, colleagues. With Prof, I don't want you to limit it to selection, because remember, throughout the year, I get a lot of questions about psychology board. Why do they do that and that and that and that? Prof is not here as part or representing the psychology board. He's just here as a psychologist. But I know he's very knowledgeable. I think he's been very reserved in telling me exactly what he does. I know very well what he does. That's why I want you to ask any question. Now I'm telling you the answer is here. Any question you want to ask in psychology, I mean, he is a head of department in UNISA. He has been around. If you knew who's here, you will ask any question. All these difficult questions you give me, I'm a small boy. The answer is here. When he leaves here, The answer is left.
Okay.
So any question, you are welcome. Whether you are in internship, masters, whatever, the answer is here.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Prof. Thank you for sharing with us your story and thank you for advising us. Um, I think, okay, let me say this. Um, each year, universities get hundred of applications. So, is it possible that in the long run, students could be taken into like more students could be taken into the program? Because currently, as it stands, I think that we have approximately 300 psychology students in the classroom at undergraduate level. So my question is, in the long run, do you think universities may recruit, recruit, or at least rather accept more students into the program? Is this something they are looking into? That's my question.
Thank you,
No,
Kia. Yeah,
thank you,
Prof,
Kia.
over to you.
No, thank you, Kia. It's a serious question, that one, and it's something that indeed needs to be entertained. And unfortunately, it's something that we seem to be shying away from. At the moment, remember that our programs of psychology, they are quite labor intensive. You see, when you, I don't know if you are already in internship or just being selected, you would see the amount of time that it takes to get one student to understand the properties of one particular instrument, for instance. It's not, remember, it's not just a reading, you know. And I remember that our work at the moment works on one-on-one, on an individual. Let's make an example. When you are taught to do whatever assessment that might be, you have to have one individual with a supervisor and a one client. Whereas, let's say it's physiotherapy. Physiotherapy, they can have a hand, they can use a cadaver, and it can be used in a group format and stuff like that. So the more people can focus on whatever it is that is happening there. Whereas with the brain, you have to engage with this living person. Okay, so that's one. So the amount taken to teach one person is quite a lot in terms of even if you look into the notional hours that are expected. So that's another one area. So therefore, we need to have more lecturers employed by the universities. First and foremost, we need to get that clear, and for that we need money to have more lecturers to be trained and to teach the students into this specific field from master going forward. The board, I know I can say this without doing ill, is now entertaining different elements in terms of how to make psychology accessible. And one of those was the introduction of registered counselor. Remember, a registered counselor is an individual qualified with an honors, right? And then they have to do a 6-month internship program. But then, even with that internship program, it has its own labor intense. But it is at least reduced a bit, unlike the masters. So that cohort was part of trying to increase the number of mental health practitioners
trying to attract those hundreds of students that you are talking to into the space. And perhaps after they're becoming registered counselors, they can still go for selection. There's nothing that's stopping them to apply to become psychologists. So it's something, the hybrid models that are being are happening at the moment. So you're quite correct. The universities have a role to play. Finance have a role to play, and of course the board also have a role to play. But it's something that is on the cards in terms of introducing new ways of recruiting more people into the mental health profession. Diva?
No, thank you. I understand. I understand all the things that they have to take into consideration in order to get there, and what they have already done, like introducing psychometry as another way to help people get access to mental health. No, thank you. That answers my question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Colleagues, are there any questions? If there are no questions, I'm going to thank Prof. Prof, I just want to thank you so much. I knew you had a very busy day, but you managed to at least preserve some time to be with us. I think we'll make a proper meeting. We can get into other things that you do and help our student. Majority here are actually about to go for their selection. There's a lot of anxiety.
Yes.
There were many people actually who went to vets who joined us on Wednesday. Others were in SMU this week. Yeah, is one of the people who are selected, but there are
Okay.
people who are also going for selection. But I
Yeah.
think we'll make another one with just all psychology students where we are dealing with the matters pertaining to psychology in general. So for now, Prof, I think let me take this time and thank you, appreciate you, and release you so that we can attend to other things.
No, thank you, Tate, and you are appreciated. Goodbye, colleagues.
Thank you, Prof. Colleagues, going back to where we are, we have 3 people that I still need to give them chance to speak. One of them, Happy. I'm glad Happy has joined. Happy, is Happy still here? Oh yes, Happy is here. Happy was part of the selection at SMU. She did not make the selection. She gave me a feedback, but she was willing to share that what she thinks has affected her. And when she said that, sorry about that, I remembered what Lerato is one of the psychology interns that I spoke to. One of the videos I've interviewed her, she did clinical psychology at SMU. She was, I think, not selected at the first round or the year before. She reflected about it. She fixed her where she thinks she went wrong, and she went in again for the second year, and then she was selected. So when Happy spoke to me, I remembered that video of Lerato, that sometimes it's about how you see lack of selection. For some people, it could be the motivating end of the world. To some people, it can be the learning curve. And I liked Happy's attitude about it. Hence, she was willing to come and share with us where she thinks she went wrong. So I'm going to give Happy later to speak. For now, I want to finish with Kia. Kia just shared a bit about her experience, what happened. I want to take questions related to Kia. When Kia finish, I'm going to allow, I don't know if Nosipo is still here. Immediately when we finish taking questions about Kia, Nosipo will come in. Nosipo is doing her first year master's in counseling psychology. What I like about Nosipo is that she went for selection at VETS, UP, and UKZN. Nosipo, you'll remind me when you come in. She's going to share a bit about that. I did an interview with her. I think you've seen it, but she's here to give words of encouragement. When she finished, Lerato will come in. And Kanye is still here as well. Kanye was with us on Wednesday. Kanye is in the educational psychology program at VETS, but she's doing her first year as well. She still remember what happened. Kanye, I know you are not in a good connectivity area. No pressure. But if you are able to connect or want to share, please come in at any time and share. So colleagues, let me give it back to Kia. I hope you have remember what Kia has shared. I just wanted to make sure that I give Prof a chance. Are there any questions pertaining to Kia, what Kia shared about her experience at SMU that you have questions about? I hope you still remember. Please, colleagues, don't freeze. Kia is one of us now. He's not a prof, so feel free to ask. Any questions? Pamela, Bushi? Any question for Kia? Happy, any question for Kia? Oh, but you were not here when Kia was sharing. Any questions, colleagues, for Kia? Or are there people who did not even hear what Kia was sharing about? Any questions? Yes, Happy has a question for Kia. Please, Happy, go on. I see your hand. I hope you are able to speak through the mic.
Hi everyone.
Hi, Happy, welcome.
It's not necessarily a question because when I got in here, she was, talking. So I kind of
Yes.
like missed a lot of stuff. So I'm kind of like interested to know what happened in the second day, third day up until they got into the one-on-one interview. So that's the only thing that I actually wanted to know because when I got in here, she was about to finish actually. So I couldn't get some of the stuff. If maybe she doesn't mind, she can share that part for me.
Yeah, okay, Kia, can you just briefly, in a very 1-2 minutes, are you able to just quickly just touch on that so that at least, colleagues, please, especially if you are going for selection, this is your turn. Ask any question that you want to ask. It's just to prepare you. Kia, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, Happy. I get it. The first rounds were group interviews, and then we were having discussions as a group about whatever topic they had given us. And then on Wednesday we did role play. I interviewed someone, and the topic was how has that client, like my client, been experiencing this week, like the selection week. So my client told me about that, and I had to, I don't know, more sort of like talk to her about that. And then we had to reflect on the discussion, the very same role play that we were doing. And then we were like 50 on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we wrote an abstract. They gave us a paper, like 10 pages long, I think. And then we had 1 hour to write a conclusion and an abstract because they gave us an article. Yes, they gave us an article of about 10 pages. So we had 1 hour to read and write a conclusion and an abstract, not more than 250 words each. And then we had individual interviews after that. So the panel, we had like 5 panels. And then basically they were asking, who are you? Where do you come from? Your newly found interest. What do you enjoy? Why do you think you want to do clinical? How would you contribute to the program? What do you think about SMU? It was those questions. And then on Friday, we had individual interviews again. We were 25. But this time the panel was not asking the questions. Prof. Luciva was the one asking the questions, but the panel was there. So it was also a one-on-one, but with Prof. Luciva, but the panel was just there. I think they were just there to see, they were just there to observe how we answer our body language and. So that's what happened. And they said we must wait for an email by end of business. If you get an email, it means you were accepted. But before that, we left. Immediately after interviews, we went home. And then around 3:30, there was a meeting for everyone, like the 25 of us. We were 25 by that time. There was a meeting, and then they were basically telling us, congratulations for making it this far. Guys, if you don't get accepted into the program, it's not that you're not good enough. It's just that the program is intense and we're just trying to find a good fit for the program, especially for SMU. It was those things basically. And then They were like, after the debriefing, we're gonna get emails. And lucky for me, I got an email, and yeah, that's what happened. I think that was more than 2 minutes. But
Thank you
that's
so
what
much.
happened. Okay. I think I'm done, Dr. Tsebe.
Sorry, I'm speaking alone here. My mic is off. Sorry. I was speaking alone. My mic was off. Friends, any question for Kia before I release her as well? Any questions? Any questions? I see love from Tandeka. Are there any questions for Kia? Pamela has a question. Yes, Pamela, are you able to switch on the mic? Or you want to put, yes, there you go.
Yeah. Hi, Kia. Congratulations on this achievement. I'm not sure if it's an achievement, but yeah, congratulations. I just have like a small question. Like, what has helped you the most during that whole interview? Is it like you're being calm? Because sometimes it's hard to being calm, and you have anxiety. You have to to think critically, all that stuff. So, what has helped you the most throughout the process? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hi, Pamela. I think for me, I would say that I have a strong support system, honestly. And my family was there for me and my friends. Lucky for me, I went through the selections with two of my friends that I did honors with. So basically, we would practice together, we would share things. Unfortunately, they did not make it, but we were just there for each other. And also because I had spoken to Dr. Tebe prior to the interviews, I think that has also like helped me in a way because I knew what I kind of expected, or I kind of knew what was going to happen each day. So other than that, I also I knew because currently I'm studying at SMU, right? But I'm doing research now. So I know a few of M1s and M2s that are doing clinical. So they kind of like also guided us. They helped us. I think the week before we were talking to them, they were practicing with us. They were kind of like the panel, and they were basically like telling us what to expect, how to do something. We did role plays with them. They would tell me, Kia, when you speak, you do a lot of arms and legs. When you do role play, you mustn't do that. They don't want to see that. When you go for individual interviews, be mindful of your posture. Those people take that into consideration. So basically, I think I got support from the people who kind of like went through the selections. And with Dr. Tewe, it was mostly about having to answer individual interviews. He helped me with that. And I got support from my family and my friends. But also, I think the panel for individual interviews, I was so scared. And the panel kind of made it easy for me to answer because I had mentioned that they kind of allowed me to speak in my language. So in that way, it was more easy for me to express some of the things that I could not express, not because you don't know English, but it's because obviously you're scared, you don't know how you're doing. Now they're gonna ask you questions. If I say something, they are more likely to have a follow-up question on that. They probe you about things you don't even want to talk about. So expressing some things in Setswana for me kind of helped me put my point across. So I think that kind of like made individual interviews less intense for me. But with the abstract and I think I kind of prepared for those things before the interviews, although it was not the same article, but I knew what goes into an abstract. How do I start it? The structure. I knew those things for me. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you. Now you have answered me. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kia. I think that's very helpful. Nosipo, you have a question. I hope your question is not too heavy. Over to you.
No, it's not. That's not. Firstly, I'd like to say congratulations, Kia. I have a question for you. It's about the selection process. Well, for me, one advice that I kept getting when I went through the selection process was just be yourself. I mean, everyone kept telling me that just be yourself, like during the whole interview process. So I wanted to ask, in terms of your experience, do you think being yourself during the whole selection process is sufficient enough? Because I often get people who ask me, what if being myself is not good enough? What if they maybe see a certain thing that they might see that it's a weakness? So yeah, my question is basically around, do you think during the whole process you're genuine to who you are, and how realistic do you think that advice is to just tell someone just be yourself during the whole process? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I would, to be honest, I think I also got that advice a lot. People said be yourself. And I was like, but how do I become myself when I'm anxious? You know?
Yes, true.
So
True.
exactly. And also there's like hundreds of us trying to get in. So how do I don't even know how to do that. And to be honest, I don't think I was myself throughout the process or the whole selection week. I don't think I was myself because I also saw like a different side of me that I didn't even know existed, you know. Normally I would say that I know I'm a crybaby, right? But the whole week I've just been that strong person. I don't know why, I don't know how, but the one thing that kind of helped me, like I said, having to speak in my own language. That time I knew I could express myself the way I wanted to. I think that is the only part where I was able to express who I am. Other than that, with the role plays, I was just trying to be good. I was just trying any other play. I don't think I was being myself, except the time I was given an opportunity to express myself in the language that I am most comfortable in. I think that's how I would answer your question. I hope it makes sense.
Thanks,
Yeah, no,
Kia.
thank you. It definitely does make sense. Maybe Doctor can also add on that, maybe what his perspective is on that. Yeah.
No, actually, I'm interested. When did you speak about your language? When was that?
It was on Thursday. I get on Thursday we had an abstract. So after the abstract, it was individual interviews. So I had like 2 white people and 3 black women as part of my
Okay.
panel. So the black one was like, okay, let's do this. Would you rather speak in your language? Because ka bona gore o ngwana wa kasi, like o tlhaga kae.
Wow.
So do you want to do that? So they made it easy for me to express myself, you see. And they were like, they will
Wow.
translate
Wow.
whatever that I'm saying to the other 2 white people. So I was like, I'm more
Wow.
comfortable doing that. So I think that kind of
Wow.
helped me. Yeah.
Wow. 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 Okay, Kanye wants to add on that. Kanye, please come in. Now people I speak a lot on YouTube. Now I want to listen myself. I'm interested.
Yeah, I think I agree with Gabezwe on the question on being yourself. It's such a trick question, but because I'm thinking about my own experience with selections. I lied somewhere.
Exactly. Exactly.
There was a question where
Yes.
It's just a matter of having
It's nice
to
speaking the
stick to
truth
the
after being
lie.
selected.
no,
I
but
think you just have to
honestly,
stick to
also,
the lie, honestly.
but you lie with caution also.
Exactly.
So know they ask you a question and you can read if this question can have a follow-up question.
Mm.
Lie. So there was a part where I asked.
So give me an example. Give me an example.
Yes, there's a question where I was asked, how do I manage stress? And I said I think I mentioned something along the lines of I work out and I don't work out. And then
Okay,
I said,
Kanye, I missed you. What was the question? I missed the question part.
How do you handle stress?
how do I handle stress?
Oh, then you said you
I meditate, and I work out, and I don't do any of these things.
I think one of the questions that I got, it wasn't how do I handle stress. It was how do I handle conflict. So
Okay.
remember, I went through the Q&A on YouTube, your Q&A, right? So your
Yeah.
answer was, I sit back, I relax, and I reflect. That was my answer. I said the exact
You
same
guys are
thing.
dangerous.
I think to be quite honest,
No, you guys are dangerous.
we can't be completely honest
Mm,
because we want to give a certain impression also. But I think being yourself is a matter of not trying to change your character. I don't know if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
I get you. And I think my take is, remember, you are there selling yourself, and this is an opportunity of a lifetime. And you need to use wisdom. Sometimes I know what you want to hear. I remember during my time at UP used to like animals. You know, there were a lot of white people in front of us. Relate yourself to an animal. I mean, firstly, I don't like animals. I'm not even relating myself with an animal. So you need to think on the toes now. Which animal will I take now? I'm in this particular situation. So you think fast, and I like that. I don't have any answer. What is the answer that can come in my mind? Now I enter into a role play mode. Had I been in this situation where I had to overcome stress, what will I do? Then I'll give you that answer that comes into my mind. Even though I've not been in the situation that you're asking me about, but because I'm under pressure and you want an answer, I will find an answer to give you. That is my ideal way, what I would have done had I been in that situation. So sometimes, yes, we look at it from a life perspective. I'll create a scenario that you want to hear and give it to you. So I think maybe we need to also tell people that don't be caught in wanting to give what is your own experience, which you might not even have. Some questions might not relate to you at all. I'm telling you, but create a scenario in your mind. Create a case study in your mind and give them what you think will be a best answer at that particular point. Guys, it's an opportunity of a lifetime.
yes, and another advice I got now from the guys by M1 and M2, but who were helping us, they said to me, if these people say Kowena, because normally I think most of us got or what's our weakness or something like that, what might hinder us from the program, and most of us got that question. So they were like to me, if you answer your weakness, right, just also try to highlight how you are trying to overcome that, or what you have done, or how you are aware of your problem, and just try to, as much as it's something negative, just try to show that you are aware of it, and this is what you're doing about it. Because also I remember with Prof, I'm not really sure what he asked me, and when I answered in a way that he said to me, oh, that was going to be my follow-up question, but it's fine because you're already answering the question that I had in mind. Yes.
Wow. Okay, Kia, please, if you are still able to stay with us, just stay with us. Because I think the way maybe we need to proceed forward, I wanted Nosipo to share a bit, and then just few words of encouragement. We take questions, but I want the questions to flow. I don't want to be, I'm avoiding me being there providing answers. Me guys, I've already spoken from January on YouTube channel. I want to hear from you, your perspective, how you say things. They've heard from me, but let them hear. So let's help in each other in answering the question. So Nosipo will share, and you guys will ask questions, and anybody's allowed to ask the questions. And then here you will help in answering anybody who has had the experience before. You can answer, even if you are going for your selection, but you went for a selection, you didn't get selected. It is an experience that you can share with everybody here. So the whole aim is just to share experience that we have, give different perspective. You can say, hey, me, I tried that one. I never got selected. So I don't know whether was it that one in particular, or maybe something occurred in that particular day, because many things can happen in a day. It is not that particular event or that occurrence that made you not to be selected. But let's just share what experience we have. So I want to move to Nosipo. Nosipo, please, you at least you have been around. You have been asked questions at VETS, UP, UKZN. You know all the angles. So please share a bit, words of encouragement. And when it goes live, don't be, I mean, many people, I'm sure, when they watch this, they will wish they were here live with us to ask the questions. But please, over to you. Any words of encouragement
Okay.
that you can share?
Firstly, I'd like to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of the live. I'll try not to speak too much about the experiences of VETS, UP, and BKZN because I've already spoken on that.
Yes, on the video.
Yes, then I'll try and speak more about what I've noticed during the master's process that I'm under. So I'll try and speak more on that just to encourage people who have just got accepted into the program for next year and just for future references. So yeah.
Yes.
The first can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go on.
Okay. My first words of encouragement, if you've got accepted, you're now starting the journey of being in the masters. I'll say set healthy boundaries. I feel like, especially amongst the support system, because I believe that most people have support system, and it's also one of the questions that they ask you during the selection process about your support structures. And now when you get into the program, I believe that it's important to set healthy boundaries amongst those support system, because sometimes you find that even though they support you, but sometimes they don't understand the journey you're in. They don't understand the challenges that you face during the program, during the master's program. So being able to set boundaries in terms of like knowing when to say no, knowing when it's time to do your work and all of that, and just having time to yourself. So, and also structuring your time, including having time to yourself. I mean, you cannot be all doing work throughout the day. You also need to set some time to be to like reflect on the program, take some time out. So I also believe that is important thing, and also just to pace yourself effectively. Just when you have assessment, don't wait for the last minute because you're going to burn out. So just pace yourself. If you have something, just start it when you still have time, and then continue with it. And then another words of encouragement during the program is to engage with your classmates. I feel like some people have this thing of thinking that we're still in competition. We're not in competition. We're all in masters. We're all selected, and they just have this mentality of we have to compete amongst one another. But we just need to like engage with each other, help each other along the course. When the going gets tough, we are able to like speak to each other and share the experience. So I'll say, yeah, engage with your classmates, and also when they're getting when the program gets tough, I believe it's also important to remember that how fortunate you were to be selected into the program, because sometimes we like get so caught up with the challenges that we face during the program, and then we forget how fortunate we were to be selected and how many people wanted the space that you got. So yeah, that's my advice for people that are going to be starting their masters next year. And for people that who are still going through the selection process, one thing to add, I don't think I shared it on the video, but if I did, I'm just going to repeat it. But be careful of, because sometimes mostly if it's like face-to-face interviews, you get that period where you sit amongst the people that are also selected. So one thing that I noticed with me, I sit a lot into that group instead of like taking a moment to step back, because I mean that came in when I reflected on the VETS selection process. On another reason why I didn't do my best is because when you sit there and you're seeing everyone coming off from their interviews, they are, you can tell from their facial expressions that I didn't go well. So you also, so it gets into you because you're like, I wonder what happens there, and you also get that anxiety. So I'll say just take a moment, just be away from people, especially those who just came from their sessions. Can you hear me? I think I
No, I
just
can
had
hear
a
you. It broke a bit, but we could hear you. We could hear you.
Oh, okay. So yeah, my advice is on that. Just try and not be too much with people that have just went through the process, because sometimes
They
they're
can
going to talk
confuse you.
about their experience. Yes, they'll confuse you. And some people, and I also remember some people were like saying, "Hi, that person asks trick questions. I didn't enjoy," and that gets into you, and then you would lose focus. So I'll just say, be mindful of that.
Or
So
somebody
yeah.
goes to the selection with you. The way he speaks, you will think he's the one to be selected, only to find he's the one who's left out.
Yes, it happens. It happens. So just yeah.
No,
So
it
yeah,
happens, people.
those are my words of encouragement, and
No,
yeah,
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, people, I'm telling you, that people on the queue, when you look at them, they look like psychologists. Everything about them, even the way they speak, until the results are out, they are not on
and
the
they'll
list.
confuse you. Some will be like, hey. Some will be like, hey, my uncle is a psychologist, my parents are this, and then you'll be like, I don't deserve a chance here.
No, I know them. I know them very well. I know. I
Yeah.
have when you're speaking, I've got pictures in my mind. Oh, this.
Eh,
I met them at
yeah.
honors level.
Yeah,
Okay.
so people will confuse you. So just sometimes it's better to just stay in your own lane. But I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to like engage with people, to like reflect on process that they've just underwent. But just be selective on what you take in, because it might also cause anxiety for you too. So yeah.
No, thank you for that. I think the important is that you need to remain at the moment, because that's a very
Yeah.
important time where you need to focus, you need to concentrate. So don't just, go to every click you see where they're talking about what their experience are.
Yeah.
You need to focus. Thank you, colleagues. Any questions for? I think most people, what we are going to do, I promise Kia around early Jan. I'll speak to Kanye and all the psychologists I know in the field. We do a support structure for those who have been selected, just a support session, just to prepare them. I don't know, Kanye, if I was speaking to you a few days ago, and you were telling me that you remembered my words on how stressful masters is. So we need to prepare people mentally. People don't know, when you get to masters, people have no life. Your life,
Hey.
you are selling your life to the university. So I think we're going to do that early Jan, but I will talk to you just to call everybody who's been selected. Let's meet now. Prepare yourself mentally, because you are now entering into another season that you will think maybe this thing is a scam. You'll be wondering, are people also going through this somewhere, or is it only us here? And it's normal. We need to make you aware that it's normal. That's psychology. And you are going to just have no life for 2 years, but it will be worth it. It will be worth it. You fight so much to be inside. When you are inside, you wish you can be out. So it does happen. So any questions, colleagues, before I move? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions?
Sorry, doctor.
Yes.
At disclaimer first, please don't ask me too hard questions, because I just underwent like an interview for
No. Me, I won't
for like
ask.
internship, please.
No. Me, I don't ask questions. I only give those who are about to go for selection. It's your turn. I'm not asking anything here. Tandega, please come.
Thank you so much, Dr. T. I'm actually not sure if this question is relevant because I am currently doing my honors.
Yeah.
So I would like to know if the selection process is the same, for clinical psychology, counseling psychology, educational psychology. And one last question. I've been struggling, I don't know why, to understand the difference between counseling psychology and clinical psychology. So if maybe any can just explain it in simple terms, I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, super. Before we answer you, colleagues, please note that I'm going to ask Nosipo to answer. Can, if you want to add, please add. Kia, your hand was up. Please come in so that we can take both at the same time. Or did you want to answer?
No. Hey, I'm gonna leave the answering to the professionals. Hey.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't really a question. It was
Yeah.
just to I just wanted to highlight something that Nozipo said, but I kind of feel like it helped me in a way. Maybe I just have a different view of that. Nozipo said that sometimes we shouldn't, like, we should be able to take time to ourselves. Like, we should interact with people, but don't just dwell too much into those things because those people will confuse you, right?
Yeah.
So with me, what happened was, because every time they sent us emails, right, you would see that I'm in the same group with Dr. Tsebe and Nozipo and Butle, you see? So now, in the waiting room, when we were in the waiting room, we would sit as that group, right? We would sit as that group and talk, but not even talk about selections or what's happening now. We talk about general things, where you did your honors, you see things. So I think that kind of like helped us relax a bit because we'd go into the panel as a group, and now I'd be talking to people I'm familiar with. So that helped me relax, like interacting with my group, because the group changed all the time. Our groups changed all the time. So every day when we interacted, it was our conversations weren't really about selections or it was general things. So that kind of like helped us relax because we knew, okay, now we know each other. Now I know when we speak, I'm talking to people at least familiar with, or that I kind of like spoke to 10 minutes ago, and now we have an idea of who Kia is, whoever is. You see, that kind of helped me relax a bit. Because now imagine walking into a room with the group, and I haven't even spoken to the group. So how do I know how Dr. Tsebe is? Do you understand? How do you support me in the discussion when you don't even know who I am? So I think that helped me. But I understand what Nosipo was saying, especially when it comes to people saying, no, that man was so rude. He asked a lot of questions. Sometimes they mislead you. I saw that a lot, honestly. But that experience differently for me.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. And I think that one is not what Nosipo is concerned. Nosipo, the one that is concerned about is when people are coming out of the interview and they start to share their experience, how the interview went. That's the problematic one. The one that was speaking about, he doesn't have a problem, and I think it's a good one, that one. And it doesn't happen like that everywhere, where you know your group beforehand. Others, they just put the groups outside. You only know them when you arrive. But that one that we're talking about, I think SMU did it differently. And that I think is a good thing because you are talking, you get to know each other. It also helps in sort of settling the nerves a bit, you know. But Nosipo, please come on. Let me not take time.
Okay. Firstly, I'd like to say, I mean, mingling or talking to other people that you're also in a selection with, like talking about other topics, as you were saying, I think that could also help because you're not only like taking away the anxiety, but you're also forming networks, if I can say. I mean, those people could be your future colleagues, so it can also work out. But just be careful if you'll start talking too much about the process, how it went, and who asked this and that, because that can also confuse you, as you were saying. So, but talking to other people is not a bad idea as long as you know what you're talking about, and yeah. So yeah, I'll say it's not a bad thing because you can also use that opportunity to network amongst other people. Yeah.
No, thank you so much. Kanye, I'll come to you. Let me take Pamela. The hand was on. Pamela?
No, it's just a small question. I'm thinking about the impressions that we have, to give first time. I'm asking guys, do we have like to wear heels all the week or I am nervous about everything and I'm overthinking everything. So I just give me a highlight, like how properly is it
Okay.
possible,
Dr.
dress
Tebe,
up
can I
and
take this?
Okay. Say
Can
that.
I take this
There's
one?
somebody wanted. Yes, please, Kia. Oh, sorry, Kia. Before you answer this one, I want us to acknowledge the question that was asked initially. Let's go
Oh,
back to
yes.
that question that was asked by Tandega. Tandega asked important question, and I hope we can attend to it. Maybe I might have the answer, but I wanted to hear your perspective. He asked whether are the counseling and clinical interview the same? Are they similar? And what is the difference between the two? And then also the interview process similar between the two, and how do you distinguish between the two? Tandaka, maybe just I have an answer for you, but I want to give to those who are fresh into the field to speak on that.
Okay,
Kanye,
Dr. T.
I hope Kanye will touch on it.
You.
Kanye,
So with this question, I had never had an interest in both those fields, so I wouldn't really know. But till today, I ask myself, what is the difference? I remember asking one of the MEC students, and from my understanding, clinical is more of, I can explain it in terms of the type of people that you work with or the places where you work. So in clinical, it's more of working in hospital, with clients in hospital, and with counseling, it's more of community based, if that makes sense. That's how I understand it. I might be wrong. I never had an interest, so I don't really know because I'm ed psych. So I'm sorry. I just wanted to add on the question that Nosipo answered. I totally agree.
yes, please.
Yes. And I remember when I was preparing for selections, a former M1 student told me that they had a group task where they were placed into groups and then they were just asked, who do you think in this group deserves to be on this program based on the interactions that you had?
Oh, yes, Lerato. I think she was here. She got disconnected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do agree that it is important to interact with other applicants, but at the same time, try not to interact much about the selection process, but just get to know each other. I just want to add on that.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, it's exactly what I think Nosipa is talking about. Conversation people, they help you to lower the nerves. Imagine the only time you open your mouth is when you are getting into the room. So okay, welcome. You can't even talk now because I've not even tested whether you can speak or not. I think get there early, be familiar with the environment, converse with people. It helps you to relax, And obviously, when we get there, I'm telling you, it is a competition. You start to look at people, others are wearing high heel. You feel like your high heel is not high enough. Maybe they'll select this high heel. Others are wearing formal. I remember during my selection, there were people with suits. Others are wearing suits. You are wearing your jeans here from Soshanguvi. So those things are going to happen. But at the end of the day, people, the content will matter more than anything else. Back to the question of Tandega. Tandega, these things are the same. Let me tell you, the interview for clinical counseling, whatever, the principles are the same. You will even think these people is like as if they speak to each other. But they are the same. They follow the same procedure. They follow the same approach. If you go to education at UP, I can tell you exactly what they did. If Kia tells you what he went through, I advise Kia. Kia was going for clinical interviews. I've never been for clinical interview, but I'm advising as a psychologist who has sat on the interview panel. At the end of the day, these things are similar. It doesn't matter whether you're going for counseling, whatever, they're going to be similar in terms of an approach. You are going to have a role play, they're going to ask you. psychology question. I don't know if you have seen, there's a video I've done. Please check that video. I'm going to put a link here where I spoke about the difference between the different professions, clinical, counseling, whatever. Check that video. There is a distinction between the two, and that you need to know. Particularly, clinical, they do like these questions. Educational, they do like it at certain universities where they ask you, why educational? Why did you not apply? Because their thinking is that most people don't know about educational. They do it as an alternative. Just because you couldn't get there, you come here. So they want to know, to really know what we do for you to be able to apply to become an educational. So they will ask you, why not this one? And your answer will tell whether you know the distinction between not necessarily the scope of practice, because we've got the scope of profession, but you know the distinction between the work content of these people compared to the work content of the other people. There is a distinction. In the past, actually, we used to have a scope of practice for clinical and scope for educational. We used to have that. So they used to be very distinct. Now we have one scope, which is called the scope of profession. We differ in terms of our work. We differ in terms of what we've been educated in. When you go to write your board exam, the board exam, they're going to examine you on what have you been trained in. And then when you go into practice, you practice in the area where you have been trained. You know, but it's a bit tricky, it's a bit blurry. That is why I was saying, Prof. Taba, and I'm going to invite him that we go into details. I mean, this person is one of the most critical people in psychology, if I must tell you that, you know, and then we'll get into that. But I think for now, just I want you to know there is a similarity in the way they conduct them. If I prepare you for educational psychology interview, that same principle will still be applied in any interview that we're going to go. I mean, listen to the interview of Nosipo. Nosipo went for the interview at VEF, went for the interview at UP, went for the interview at UKZN. The approach is also similar in terms of how the universities do it. These people are not, it's like as if they go to a school of conducting psychology interview. They are similar all over. In terms of focus, there is some distinction there that one needs to note. I hope that answer your question. But I will please check that video which I've done. I don't want to go too much into it. There's a video I've done. I'm going to, actually I've shared the link. If you go to the link, you go to the playlist and check the psychology selection playlist. If you go to, sorry colleagues, I want to make sure that he knows exactly where to go. If you go here, if you are on the channel, most people that are not as technology savvy as me, come here to playlist. When you come to playlist, click on psychology. You are going to get all the videos relating to psychology, selection, and all that and all that. So that's what we are going to do. So yes, let's go to the question about high heels. High heels, Nosipo can. Oh yes, yeah, wanted to answer the high heel one. Yeah, did you want to answer the high heel one? Were you wearing high heels for you to be selected?
No.
Maybe,
No.
maybe Happy will know that I was not selected due to lack of high heel.
No, you know what I was advised, right?
Yeah.
So remember I had said that I got guidance from those doing M1 at SMU, right? So what they told us was you don't have to be formal, but you can wear semi-formal, because they said in the beginning, like at the beginning of the academic year, I think there was this year, the beginning of this year, when the classes were starting. So now when they went into class, I don't know, whoever the lecturer was like, obviously congratulations, we are here, the year is about to start. Guys, do you know that we kind of not really judged, but I'm gonna use judge for lack of a better word, right? So we kind of like judged you based on your outfit, your body language, and all of those things, right? So they were like, so I'm gonna advise you not to wear your casual clothes, but you can wear like a jean and a t-shirt and formal shoes maybe. But now it's winter, obviously we wear like long pants and. So with me, what I did was I wore formal shoes, I wore formal pants, and normally I'd wear like a t-shirt and have different jerseys on top. That's what I wear. every day. People thought I was going to work even. I wore that every day. So basically, they told me that it kind of shows that you take the interview seriously. Like, for example, you can't go to an interview. If you got a job interview, you wouldn't go there wearing a crop top, right? So why would you want to go to this
Pajamas and
selected?
slippers.
Exactly, wearing that. So they're like, presentation is also good. So that's what they told me. So that's what I would advise you to wear. Like, you don't really have to be formal or wear like heels, as you said, but you can like wear your semi-formal clothes. That kind of makes you look presentable as a person. You see? So
Yeah,
yeah.
you need to think of, if you are going to a job interview, how will
Mm.
you wear? I mean, I don't wear a suit to work. Why will I go with a suit to an interview? No, Sipo, what were you wearing?
I was wearing sandals.
But
So,
you look presentable. You didn't wear like
yes.
as if you are going to a mall in social
Mm.
media.
So basically, what I wanted to add is that I believe that being comfortable is also important, but being comfortable in a professional way. As she was saying, that you can't wear crop tops just because you're comfortable with it. Because imagine wearing heels and you've never worn heels in your life, and you're going there and maybe you trip and fall, and it's another anxiety on top of everything. So just try and wear comfortable, but something that is also professional. So yeah,
Smart
because
casual.
yes, yeah, because also when you into the program, they also judge you based on how you present yourself in terms of your outfits, how you talk to other people. So they're basically watching you throughout the year. You must know that they will be watching you, everything that you do. So it's important to be mindful of those little things that we might miss. So yeah.
And I must say that our rubric doesn't have dress code. So on the rubric, there's no item for dress code. So, but you need to be professional. So if you are not professional or you are not dressed smart or in a representable way, we are going to note it. But if you just dress in a professional way, it doesn't matter. What matters will be what you deliver in that particular session. But if you come shabby, you dress in a funny way, we are going to note that. Then it becomes a point of interest. So this thing, people, there's no formula. There's no formula around it. Just keep it very simple by becoming presentable. Think, if I were to go for an interview, how will I want to present myself? Kanye, what were you dressing? You didn't share about your dress code.
I was dressed smart casual.
Okay, okay.
I wore heels. So with me, if you're I look very young.
Yeah.
It's because with the first interview I had in 2020, I was asked about how I would deal with clients since I look very, very young. So with me, it came from a place of I just wanted to look a bit older. So
Yeah.
I even wore makeup.
Yeah,
And
no, I agree with you. I think I also had that because I think I entered into psychology. I was still young. So every time I go for interview, or I'll want to look older than I looked. And I will dress in a way that I don't want you to judge me due to my dress code. If you know me in person, I really dress like I'm going to work all the time. So it does have an effect, but I think what I used to struggle with a lot, particularly for psychology, I used to think, how should an educational psychologist dress like? Because there's a perception that you work with kids. So how does a person who's open to working with kids should look like in an interview? So there were many things that went into my life, into my thinking. But at least I started to have interest into the field, because the field is, you will see when you start, particularly when you start with your clinicals, you will be meeting clients. And when you are meeting clients, remember, often you see the parent with the child. So if I'm going to do an assessment, I can't be formal. I'm doing an assessment. I want to be free. I want to be relaxed. But when I do an intake interview, I want to make sure that I look presentable. So there'll always be those things. So you need to think about, when I go for the selection, how will I look like if I had an intake interview with a parent? So that thing that, think about it and don't overdo it. Like somebody said, you wear heels, you fall. or Tina, guys, you wear a sharp nose. They are busy hating you. They can't even concentrate because you are wearing things that you are not used to. Yes, Kia. I think when you finish, I'm going to go to Happy, and then, guys, we must bring this to an end. Kia, please.
Yes. No, Dr. Tab, this is not a question. I
Yeah,
was thinking because Pamela was the one that asked a question about the dress code. So now I
yeah,
was thinking, Pamela mentioned that she's going to Rhodes interviews,
yes,
right?
yeah.
So yes, I just wanted to say if Pamela would like that, I have a friend who's familiar with Rhodes interviews. She went through all the stages, and I think she'll be happy to share with Pamela the process. So if she doesn't mind, she can contact me and I can connect them. That's all.
Super, super. That's nice, and that's why we have this community.
Yeah.
So, how do they contact you? I think, how do I link you and Pamela? I think that's the most important part. You are on Pamela. Yes, Pamela, speak. Pamela, want to say
Yes,
something.
I was gonna say that would be grateful to Kia. I would appreciate that a lot because yeah, I'm going through the most. So I would appreciate any help that I'm getting. Thank you.
Pamela,
So
are you on
I'm
LinkedIn?
just wait.
Are you on LinkedIn, Pamela?
Yes, I am in LinkedIn.
Okay, if you can DM me, I can give you Kia's contact, then you can contact her directly.
Okay, how do I get your full names? Remember, this is my first time, guys, meeting you in this
Okay.
session.
Oh, okay,
there's
but you can send a message here in private. I don't want to share people. This video will be online. I don't want to share people's numbers here.
yes, yes.
Kia, are you able to send a communique to Pamela privately? Here, you can do it, I think here. Just send a private chat.
My chat, I can't even access my chats. I don't know why.
Okay, Pamela, you see on the chat, if you go to the chat.
Me too, mine are closed.
Yes, they are closed.
So you guys can't see the chat at all.
That's why we couldn't even
No.
we couldn't write down our
No,
questions.
we can't.
Okay, Pamela, here's my LinkedIn thing. I hope you can see it. If you go to LinkedIn, that's me there. Be my friend. I'd love to be your friend as well. Let's connect, and then if we can connect, then send me a whatever. What do you call it? Whatever. Yes, and then I will send you Kia's contact. Then contact with Kia. Yeah, only
Thank
for you because you are live. We don't share with people who are not live.
Thank
Yes.
I know others are going to text me now on LinkedIn. Where's Kia's contact? Okay, colleagues, I think let me welcome Happy. Happy, thank you so much. I really appreciate. Lerato is struggling to connect. Lerato is doing an internship. She really wanted to connect and share. But I think we'll organize another one where we do the support session for those who are selected. For now, I want to give Happy. Happy went for selection at SMU, was with Kia, didn't make it to the final round, and text me on LinkedIn, thanked me for support and whatever, and shared with me why she thinks she didn't make it. And I wanted her to just share a bit of perspective, which I think I'm very excited and I was encouraged by that attitude and approach, because I believe that that's all we need. And guys, if you don't get selected, Pamela, Butle, Tandega, it's not the end of the world. I think if you listen to Lerato's interview, it's just she can't connect now. But if you listen to an interview online, when I interviewed her, she was not selected before. But now, the way she's flowing in clinical psychology, she's doing her intern because she went to reflect about it. It's not the end, people. It is not the end. Nosipo is here, was not selected at UP, was not selected at VETS, and she went towards the last stages. But she's here now in the master's program now. So, Happy, please come on board and just share a bit your experience and why you wanted to share with others who are here.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, sir.
Evening, Happy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so
Oh,
much for
yes,
this
yes.
opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thanks to you.
I think the reason why, first of all, the reason why I didn't make it is because I kind of like discovered you late. because I kind of like saw your videos a week before.
Or the week before?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So I think, because the thing is that I went there unprepared. I just didn't know what to expect. I just didn't know what is happening. So I think if maybe I had this kind of information prior, maybe it was going to be helpful, because I remember I got in there and I was with my team and we just sat there. All of us, we just didn't know what to expect. So I think maybe all of us, it was just our first time, because we kept on asking each other. And for us, I think it didn't work, this thing of, talking to each other, because we just wanted to talk about what was going to happen. So it kept on adding like more nerves. And we kept on asking each other to say, is there anyone who knows what is going to happen there? So all of us, it was our first time, most of us. And I think it was only 3 ladies. By Lochoring, it was not their first time. But one thing that I've seen is that because this thing is a competition, people don't want to share information. I really appreciate people who are here and they're busy, sharing their experience. That is why, like, I even went and I was inboxing you to say thank you so much for sharing such information, because people don't share such information. Some people just want to succeed alone, So there were some by Lochoring, they went and they just didn't want to share. And they were like, no, it's not my first time. And he kept on asking them to say, okay, fine, but do you know what was going to happen in there? And they're like, we don't know, but we'll just see, But you could see, they knew something. And for me, it was very intimidating because I come from South African College of Applied Psychology. It's a very small institution. So when I got in there, and I remember we were supposed to be 10, but I think there were 2, if not 1 extra, because they came in early and they were like, no, it's fine, you can also come in. So even the position where I was sitting, I was just, sitting like at the corner. So the 2 interviewers were actually literally at my back, because we were so clustered in that room. So I think maybe that can also be something that, because I could not even see them, on the Facebook when we were reflecting, because when we said that, they were like, okay, here's the topic, and then you can discuss among yourself, but don't even look at us. That thing as well, it was so intimidating, because I was like, how do we discuss when we don't look at them, So I just didn't even know, when you go for an interview and you know about the position, at least you will know how to prepare. But this one, I just didn't know what to do. I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know, are they, checking our, non-verbal, like, are they checking how we are sitting, how we, maybe they are judging on our intellectual. So I just didn't even know what to say. But I remember there was a video that I was watching. I think it was you and Lerato, the one who's an intern. And she kind of like said something to say they did it online. And one thing that she did is that she didn't talk a lot. So I was like, okay, maybe they don't want us to talk a lot. So I just didn't know what to expect,
I get
Yeah,
you.
like I'm saying, Gucci, I kind of like got your videos a week, before. So it was just a lot for me. It was so overwhelming. So I think not knowing what to expect is something that kind of like, throw me under the bus there, because I just, you're just shortlisted. You don't know how to prepare. You don't know what to expect. And when we were discussing, we just discussed, yes, it was good. And then when we were reflecting, now I think one thing again that made me worry is that, okay, the position that I'm sitting, I don't even know how to look at these people, because they're literally at my back. So we're just kind of like very clustered. So, but overall, what I can say is that I'm thankful for the information, even though I kind of like discovered it very late. And I'm so grateful to say, at least next time when I go, I know, okay, when you go, this is what is going to happen, day 2, day 3, should I make it? But there was another video that you made about rejection, to say that sometimes they reject you, not because there's something wrong with you, And I think when I went there, I just said to myself to say, you know what, I'm just going to give it my best. And I'm just going to go there, and whatever that, we are asked to do, I'm just going to try to do it the best way that I can, and if I am rejected, there's nothing wrong with me. And that is why for me, I was like, it's a learning curve. So I'm grateful that I was shortlisted, and I'm grateful that I kind of like had that experience to say, okay, but now I know what is expected. Should I be shortlisted again? Because I'm just coming from a very small institution, and I'm going to this big institution, and there's a lot of competition. Like they were talking about the dress code. Yeah, I'm always in my semi-formal because I'm very petite as well. But yes, I was presentable because I was like, okay, it's an interview. I cannot go with my jeans. But when I got the people are wearing their jeans, and I'm like, okay, what's going on in here? So I think that thing was just not knowing. It was just something that was just giving me anxiety, and I was just so nervous. And I remember I was just sitting in that room, and there was a moment when I was just so dizzy because I was just so nervous. It was just so overwhelming. But overall, I'm just grateful for the experience to say, okay, going forward, this is what is expected. And I think one thing that I can say, Kakia, I think you were so fortunate to kind of like get the people who can actually assist you, because I didn't have anyone. I didn't even know anything. Like I'm saying, I kind of like discovered your video like a week, before. So here, like you were very fortunate to kind of like get people, but again, they can even give you time, because I had someone saying, Corey, they just say go and not, you must just be yourself. That is a very difficult thing. How do you be yourself? Because you're going for an interview, you want to impress, there's a lot of competition, so you just don't even know. So you text someone, you're like, okay, what's the tips? Like, just be yourself. I mean, that's not good enough, So I think, she must really be grateful to kind of like get those people who also invested their time in, helping her. And, we need your contact here. Yeah.
Wow. Happy. No, you know what? This is very moving. It actually, I think it makes me to reflect a lot, because that's actually the reason why we started the channel. And I really need to thank, Kanye, Nosipo. Their videos are there, but people like them who were willing to share their stories and what they've went through, I think is what helped us to be able to build what we have built. And that is why I always rely on them as well. And I invite them a lot. Kanye also has dedicated time to actually help people. Kanye, must share that link of your Instagram. Kanye on Instagram, we had some interview also on her page where she also dedicated to help people, because this has been a struggle for many people. And the channel was mainly started for that. And I started to contact all the people I saw on LinkedIn. I never knew these people. No people I never met. No, hey, we met on LinkedIn. I said, no people, please come help people. They were willing to come and help. Kanye came and helped. And we are doing this because people, you could hear what Happy is sharing. Imagine Happy only discovered the channel a week ago. AI has been binging on the channel. I don't know from when. She was lucky she met me in person just a few days before the interview, and we could sit and, I could help her. I'm very passionate about psychology, people. When you meet me, don't even think you'll disturb me. As long as psychology, I'll spend time with you. There are people who used to call me a week ago, and I used to have one-on-one interview. And that's what actually motivated me to do this, because people used to call me, ask me. So imagine every Saturday I was having a one-on-one interview with somebody, just encouraging them, giving them tips. So I thought, you know what, let's go live. And I wanted to hear from other people. But at the end of the day, Happy, it's thanks to people like Kanye, Nosipo, that we have the resources that we have. So those who are here who don't know the channel, check it out. There's a lot of resources, people. We have done everything. The whole January to May, I just dedicated it to selection. I don't know how many videos just for selection. Scope of practice, Q&A, just go there. I think if you go through the LinkedIn or whatever, you'll be able to see, everything that you can see about the psychology. And can you please remember to share that? And Nosipo, even you, when you finish masters, please, guys, let's dedicate to helping psychology students. I tell people that the problem with psychologists, we forget where we come from.
Yeah.
We forget where we come from. We forget the struggle, Let's not forget the struggle of psychology. If I tell you the projects I'm doing now, they won't benefit me. They'll benefit psychology student. I'm trying to find out how can I build a center where people can do internship? How can I build a center where I'm on a board of a college now. I'm working with that college to employ psychologists, to employ interns, because I'm very active in the field. I'm active at HPCC. That's why I know people like Prof. Tabane. I'm active in the board exam thing. I'm very active as a psychologist. but I'm only active because I want to make sure that we are represented, but also our concerns and whatever issues that we go through are represented. And I want to encourage you, even when you guys complete, Nosipo, Kanye, Lerato is not here, please be active. Don't just be closing in your practice there. You are just making money quietly. Nobody knows you where you ended. No. Psychology is bigger than that. We need to go and help people. Psychology can make a lot of money, but I think it's more fulfilling when we live up to what we said. We wanted to be psychologists because we wanted to help people. So we can't be a psychologist and disappear. So Happy, what you are sharing actually is really moving to me. It encourages me to want to continue doing what you are doing. And I'm encouraging Nosipo here, Kanye, and all of you here. Now you are selected. Please, for the next 2 years, I don't mind if you are silent. You'll have no choice. But when you finish, when you finish, you are a clinical psychologist and you are wearing high heels, please come back and help others who went through the process. So that's what we do, Happy. And your story, I mean, I'm saddened to hear that you only discovered us late. And I don't know why, because I'm very active on Facebook, I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm all over, people. I'm really all over, trying to encourage people. I'm on Facebook most of the time, which I'm not even part of. They're not my pages. I'm just answering psychology students' questions, So, yeah,
We are grateful.
yeah, no, I hear you, Happy. Your story is, and it is very sad because,
And
yeah,
sorry, like
no,
even when I came back, I remember my fellow student, the other ones that I studied with, they kind of like called me to say, how was it? To show which people really need information, I mean,
yeah,
it was just one day that they
yeah,
wanted to know, okay, how was it? What kind of question do they ask and stuff like that. So people just want the information to say, how do we prepare? That's the thing, one thing that actually makes us nervous because we don't know what to expect. We don't know how to prepare ourselves. We don't know when we get there. What is it that is just going to happen, So they kept on asking to say, how was it? We want to apply next year. We want to know how was it? How was the experience for you? And I couldn't even say much, but they actually appreciated for that 1 hour, one day, They can see when the people really need such information.
No, look, I think, no, I'm really glad you are here, and I hope this network continue, and you continue being there. And I believe, I mean, it will happen. Eventually, it happens. I'm telling you. I tell people now, if I wanted to be a psychologist, I got rejected. One day you will accept me. I'll keep coming because I believe in it. And that's the spirit that we need, guys. Never give up. Remember what I said on the video. Psychology selection, to be honest with you, are very subjective. And I hope you heard, Pamela, what Kanye said. Kanye said something important. He said, sometimes I even lie. And imagine, Kanye now is already selected. You lie on something, but you'll be selected. You are being too honest. Sometimes honesty, you need to give people honesty with a pinch of salt. This honesty might also hinder you. You need to think, should I give you? I'm telling you, even me, I hate to control myself in psychology. Sometimes I'll be irritated with this animal thing. I'm like, these people, if I tell them the truth, they won't select me. Or I won't even advance in my psychology. But let me play along as if I like this animal, even though I hate them. That is why I tell people I never like therapy. And even now, even in my practice, I don't do therapy, people. But I pretended because I wanted to be a psychologist. Let me do therapy. Let me play. I don't do play therapy. I don't do those things. I don't do them. Personally, I went to psychology for certain things. So there are things I don't like. But I hate to do them, pretend I like them, just because I wanted to just get my certificate and be a psychologist and do what I like within psychology. Psychology is very broad, people. I call myself a career psychologist. I specialize in that area. I can tell you about all careers. I specialize in that area. That's what I wanted to specialize in. Any other thing, people, it doesn't matter that much. So sometimes use wisdom. I tell people, use wisdom. What do these people want to hear to select me? Now I believe that many people who have been rejected who can be good psychologists. That is why there are some people who get selected and they drop out of psychology. They say, no, I made a mistake. The ones who really wanted it, they were rejected. Why? Because it's subjective. That one we can't run away from. It is subjective. So when you get in there, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm going to tell you some of the things. I will tell you what you want to hear, not because what is my experience, what I want, what you want to hear for you to select me. I'll give it to you. So use wisdom, guys. When you get there, give it your best. Give it your best. Tell them anything that you need to tell them to be selected. So thank you so much. Are there, colleagues, any questions for Happy before I release her? If there are no questions, I'm going to just go in a round. We just say some last few words. Nosipo, please, Kanye, say something. Let me take a question. Let me start with Kia, then we go to Tandeka.
Okay, thank you. This is not really a question. Maybe it might, maybe I shouldn't be saying it because I got selected, but somebody told me that sometimes this is for happy, right? So somebody told me that sometimes rejection is redirection. And I think for me, I kind of like lived with those words since last year. So what happened last year was I got an invite to UNISA, right? For clinical selections. And I got cut in the first group interviews, right? So obviously I was sad. It wasn't nice. I thought I could be somewhere by now, right? So after that, I think I had just like decided that now next year, as compared to last year, I was going to apply to more schools than I had applied to last year, right? And mind you, last year I applied to SMU and I didn't even get an invite, but I only got it this year. It was my first time for the interviews here, and lucky enough, I was accepted. So for me, when I say sometimes rejection is redirection, maybe it wasn't my time last year, and maybe with happy, maybe you will. We hope that you get in. It might not be with SMU. It might be with UNISA, with Rhodes, with UWC, with whichever institution. Maybe just not with SMU. That's how I would take it. But other than that, I have nothing else to say.
Thank you so much, Kia. That's very encouraging. And I want to say, somebody asked me a question. Where is it the best institute to do masters? And I tell people that, guys, when you come to masters, I don't think it matters that much. Masters people is the same almost everywhere in terms of the level of professionalism. Even UNISA, where people have undermined at undergraduate level, when it comes to master's level, it's a different ballgame. Masters is a highly respected profession and level of study. So the intensity at a master's level is totally different. So wherever you do it, I've got confidence that it's going to be a good master's. What I tell people is that as long as you are a psychologist, any other thing people you can teach yourself, all you want to is to get into the program. That's why I tell people apply to as many places as possible. When we get to be psychology, it doesn't matter the psychology from the Limpopo University, from Toyando University, vets, whatever. At the end of the day, we are all psychologists. We don't have a mark here, psychologists from wherever. You can develop yourself as a profession when you are qualified. Apply anyway. Don't be selective because you don't know where they might select you. This thing now is too tricky. I think, Tandek, I'm going to come to you. There's something I shared, I think, previously about, I don't know if you saw it, where I spoke about the selection in different institutes. And I hope you can see that, where I shared that, imagine how many people they select. Look at that. Institute 1, I removed the name there intentionally so, because when I requested them, they were not sharing them for YouTube. They were sharing them for my own. I was presenting to my students at varsity, the honor students. But look at that. Institute 1, 730 people apply. They only select 10. Another one, 400, they select 7. Another one, 4, 6, 10. I mean, Kia, you are part of that. So somewhere there is your institute here, and you were one of those people with the yellow who were selected. And this is across. You look at counseling, it doesn't make it better. Look at the numbers, 200 applicants, look at the numbers of people who have been admitted in all of them. And these colleagues, it happens across the programs. It is very tough to get into the program. You look at honors, we still have a similar situation. So getting into the program, colleagues, support you definitely need. And we are hoping that with the little that we are doing, we are able to plant some seeds that can help you, as Happy has said, just to prepare you so that you can be able to handle this pressure. So Tandeka, I want to bring it to a close at least by 9. We're left with 8
Okay.
minutes.
All right, Dr. T. Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Can I apply for masters? What I'm doing final year in my honors.
No, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I've answered that question a lot because this is how I say it. It's just like matric. For me to apply for first year, I don't need to complete matric, but they will use the result that I have. But I think somebody told me another institute wanted you to have the final results. I don't know which institute is that, but ideally and logically
It was
speaking,
INSA,
And
it was
sorry,
SMU.
it was INSA and SMU. They want you to have completed your honors.
UNIS and SMU.
Yes, they want you to have completed your honors before you apply.
Kanye, which one do you know that want you to complete?
Yes, it's UNISA and SMU.
I don't know why they do that. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. So, because think about it logically, people, and I'm telling you, and this is where the issue lies. And so it means me, when I finish honors, I must take a gap year before I apply. Because what will I be doing the year before? Somebody can argue, say you want to volunteer, but I can still volunteer in my third year, I can volunteer in my second year, I can volunteer in my honors. I don't need to complete in a year break before I apply. It doesn't make sense. I don't know why they do that, but this is where the issue comes, people. That is why you need to enter into this profession. You need to be HODs to change things in those departments. I made a video. I told people that psychologists are not being employed in certain environment because of the people who are heads of department. If you're not knowledgeable about psychology, I mean, look at Professor Tabani was speaking. He's an educational psychologist, but he was heading a department in UNISA. Now he's the director of the college, the entire college of education. If I tell you what he does at HPCC, the president now of psychology board, he's a psychometrist, the president of psychology board. You know, he's a deputy to that president. So imagine this, the president is a psychometrist of a psychology board. So if you guys don't become active, you are going to allow people, and I'm not talking about the people I mentioned in particular, I'm just making an example that if you don't become HODs, you don't become active and challenge these things, people are going to be making decisions on your behalf. That is why you need to complete and become an active psychologist. Become an active psychologist in the field. You see? Yes, Tandeka.
No, thank you so much, Dr. T. That was it from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, colleagues, let me thank you so much. I want us to stop. I don't know why Kanye has not shared the thing. Kanye, I'm going to share your thing on your behalf because you have not shared.
Oh, not able to share anything on my side. I'm sorry.
No problem. Me, I can share anything on my side. I'm connected here.
Mention something important, Dr. T.
Eh?
I was thinking I just mentioned something important.
Please do.
I know that everyone is under the anxiety of applying for masters, but please don't forget to apply for bursaries and scholarships. It's very difficult when you are approved and you don't have funding. It makes M1 a challenge. It makes
Oh,
it
yes.
very difficult. So please start applying for bursaries as well. Even though you're not sure if you're going to make it, but you're not going to lose anything, please apply so that you don't struggle financially. And also have savings for beginning of the year, because even if you apply for a bursary, they can approve you around April, May. So also make sure that you have some savings.
No, thank you so much for that. Yeah, colleagues, usually it's very, yeah, I think the bursary for psychology sometimes is a challenge, but certain institute, they give you what we call a postgraduate bursary. So anybody who is in a postgraduate, who has obtained, usually they make it 65% and above. So at UP at that time, because all psychology people who are selected, we had high marks, automatically they'll give it to us. So I would suggest if you do get admitted, go to your bursary department and ask about the postgraduate bursary. Usually every institute has it available. And also, when you go to finance usually, and I mean, these are very active institutes, effective ones. I don't know others. Others, they might not do that. But they usually have a list, even SMU has it, a list of bursaries on that students are benefiting from of that particular institute, or the one that they have partnered with, where they can assist you to apply to. You can also apply for those particular bursaries. And then at master's level, there's also what we call I had this one when I was doing a PhD. It's called Sahuda. Sahuda, get this one, guys. This one is very good. I had this one. I think I did a video about it in one of the, yeah, I did a video about it. Sahuda, not this one. What is this now? Sorry. But yeah, I think it's this one, Sahuda. No, it's not this one. But check it out, NHSIS, National Education Institute, NHSS. Yes, this one. Please check it out. It's a very good bursary. This one is for masters and a PhD. They paid for my PhD. They are on all the public institute. Private institute is very difficult to get payment. That's why they are private. They'll want you to pay. But if you are able to pay for yourself, you can go there. But please make sure that you check this one. I know definitely they cover everything. It's one of the best that I can tell you about. If you get this one, you will really, really enjoy your studies. The other thing is that, colleagues, when you get to masters, sometimes masters can be very traumatizing. Try to do some job on the side, whether part-time lecturing. Speak to your lecturer. When you are at the master's level, speak to your lecturer. Ask for a UNISA. They used to have a lot of marking, invigilation, or assistant to a lecturer. Ask them. They will never give you until you ask them. Some of us, we had opportunities because we used to ask. I used to lecture part-time when I was doing my M. I used to be a mentor. I used to be an assistant to the dean. I used to be very active, just active all over. So money was not so much a struggle because I was working. I used to be on the committee of the residents. So be active, because my vision, my perspective was, I don't want when I fail masters one test, I get frustrated because the only thing I do, I study. At least even when I fail, I'll be like, because maybe I'm also busy with what, you know. So I don't want my life just to be studies. Masters can become traumatizing if you are living like that. You come back to that studying, you come back to class. It's not normal. It's not normal. Masters can make you do that, but they need to put it there. Remember, when you get to masters, people, even if you get a 50, there's no psychologist of 50% and psychologist of a distinction. We need this 70s and 80s just to get there. They made to get there, you relax, as long as you pass. What's important now is to build a profession. Do I understand what I'm doing? Am I able to live here as a fully fledged psychologist who can contribute to society? That's all that's important. As we close, any last word, Nosipo? Any last word, Kia? Any last word, Kanye? Then we close. Nosipo, any last words? Kia, any last words? Kanye, any last words? Yes, Nosipo.
For me, I'd just like to say thank you everyone for joining, and all the best to everyone that still have to go through the selection process. I'm hoping that you've taken all the notes. Like, we've really touched on important points today. So yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Any last words? Oh, Happy, yes. Any last words? I want all our speakers just to say last words. Happy, any last words on your side?
Let's keep on doing these meetings.
We'll keep doing this. This one will definitely do because of what you have shared.
Yeah.
I will
Yeah,
definitely
just
keep
kind of
doing
like
this ones.
encourage
Definitely.
each other. But yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for the word. Yeah, it's very encouraging.
Thank you so much. Kia, any last words on your side? You are the most excited person on this group.
No, thank you so much. I'm not an expert. I'm only gonna start next year, but I think my WhatsApp will always be open. If you guys need my help with autobiographies or whatever, you can always ask Dr. Tsepe for my numbers. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I thought you said I can assist with autobiography.
No.
For that one, I refer people to ChatGPT. I did a video. I said ChatGPT can do a better autobiography than you. But colleagues, even Nosipho, Kanye, they're very open to advice at any time. So if you DM me, I can also share their contacts. I like it when we form a network, you know. Don't only rely on me. There are people who have got different perspectives who can share their views, and that's why they're here, and I've invited them to come and share. Kanye, any last words on your side?
I just want to say thank you for inviting me for this meeting and all the best to everyone going for interviews. Always remember that if anyone can make it, then you can also make it. So everyone has a chance to be approved. Just nail those interviews.
Definitely, definitely. And colleagues, I've shared Kanye's page on Instagram. I hope you saw that. Check it out. Kanye used to be dedicated in helping people. I think Masters now is really mesmerizing her. She's been too quiet now. She does no longer post.
I'm going through a lot. It's hard
Yeah.
to manage the page now, but you can inbox me if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer.
No, look, if it's acceptable that Masters to disappear, we all understand. We all understand. No, Sipo.
Okay, one final thing I wanted to say. As we heard the professor earlier on, he said
Yeah.
that there's less than 10,000 psychologists that are registered with the HPCSA. So sort of like encouragement to say that there's still space for us in the community, in the country as a whole. So never lose hope. So there is space for everyone, just that the programs are so limited in terms of like the numbers that they select. But in terms of like our like there is a need for us as a profession. So yeah.
No, definitely. There is a room, especially for Black psychologists. It's still a new field for us. Usually when I encourage students, I say, how many doctors do you have on your street and how many psychologists do you have? That should just indicate to you the gap in the market. So I tell them, you can be the first psychologist in your area. So the gap is too huge, is too big. We can't even, I don't know how long it's going to take us to close the gap. So friends, let's end here. Thank you for your time. Have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the weekend until we meet again. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.